we are for another Lisa Ann's Backstage Convos. I am Lisa Ann. We are at the lovely Sapphire 39, one of the three amazing locations right here in New York City. And we've got a guest. She's beautiful. You know her, you love her, and you wait for her to come through because she only features at the Sapphire Clubs and one other club. So that is our friend, Angel Dark. Great to see you today. Thank you so much for making time to be here.
Thank you for having me.
So it's great to see you and kind of get to catch up because it's been years.
Years.
And now you're out on the road and kind of traveling a bit, but you're mainly in Vegas. What are you doing with yourself other than being out here feature dancing for Sapphire?
Like out in Vegas?
Yeah.
I live pretty boring life, believe me or not. Like I have 4 dogs, I kind of like do yoga. I have friends there and like, traveling. I still travel to Europe.
And when you go back to Europe, do you still shoot?
I was shooting last time I was there. Yeah.
Okay, great.
In Prague.
And where, Budapest? Prague?
Prague. Yeah, I go to Prague.
I get to see Eric Everhard when I go back there and visit because
Oh,
he was
he's
over
there?
in Prague for a while. Yeah.
Oh, he's in Prague?
Yeah. So sometimes you go out and shoot. Are you still shooting in LA? Are you still very active in the industry?
I'm kind of like working, shooting content for my OnlyFans and sometimes like for the production if they call me, but mostly girl-girl scenes. And I do boy-girl for my OnlyFans.
Which is, what's the address?
It's Angel X Dark.
Angel X
X Dark.
Dark. Okay, that makes it
Everything is gonna be with X.
Angel X Dark. That's going to make it super, super easy. For you being in the industry so long, feature dancing is something we'd always been doing many, many years ago. But the way technology has evolved, the way we're able to communicate with our fans, years ago you had to go on a road or go to a trade show to talk to your fans. Now, because you're one of the few creators that actually runs and manages her own page on OnlyFans, how different is it for you to be able to actually have like regular casual conversations with your fans whenever you want to on your OnlyFans?
Actually, OnlyFans like make it better. I used to do that back in the day because I was doing webcamming since I started in porn industry. So I was always between industry and webcamming. So, like when you're webcamming, you kind of like get in touch with fans, but it's not the same like these days because even people who can't find you on webcam, like they can just go to your page and they can talk to you. It's better.
Yeah, and it's also a little bit different because they have a private space to talk to you, right?
Yeah.
When you're in webcam, you're responding to everybody at one time. It's
Yeah,
not quite
it's
as
kind of
personal.
like crowded.
Yeah, you see their username, you know who they are, you're excited to see them, you say hello. If you've met them, you can picture them. But in the DM, you get to have these conversations waiting there for you.
It's more personal, yeah, definitely.
It's definitely more personal. What have you learned about your community, your fans? Like, is it something specific that they're into? What do you see?
In my fans, they are kind of like all over the place, I would say. Like some are into boy girl only, some are into anal only, some are fetish only, or girl or solo. Like they are like everywhere.
And I feel like OnlyFans has allowed everyone to customize their exact desires. Mm-hmm. You have fans all over the world. So globally, we're all utilizing OnlyFans, but you actually are able to have interactions in different languages in different countries. How do you manage the time zones? And how do you manage the switching languages back and forth?
Switching language is kind of easy because if I go to my own language, which is Slovak or Czech, I speak fully Czech or Slovak, so that's like easy. Like I'm right there. English is a little bit of a problem sometimes, because it's not the language I was born with. And the time change, yeah, that's an interesting one. Because like when you are talking to people from England, it's 8 hours, Europe is 9 hours, then you have like Dubai, it's like all over the place.
Yeah, and Czech and, all over for you.
It's easy for me because my parents and my sister, they are still in Prague, so I'm kind of like on the 9-hour zone.
And you always know what time it is there. So that does make it easier.
It's like it
Do you
just
do
clicks.
live shows on your OnlyFans?
Yeah, I do live shows on my OnlyFans.
Do you find like sometimes your friends in other countries are like, can you customize it next month? Like, somebody wants you to be like, okay, well, once in a while you'll do one at like noon on a Saturday, even though it doesn't feel as
I
sexy.
do that.
Yes.
Sometimes I do like a noon and I do like an afternoon one, like or a nighttime, like 6 p.m., 7. Because like all Europeans are like, oh, I can't make it. So I have to
As soon
do,
as you
like,
send out the announcement that you're
1
doing
p.m.
it. Yeah. As the most messages you will get is after you schedule a live stream on OnlyFans
Yeah.
of like, that time just doesn't work for me. Okay, that time doesn't work for me. You're like, you've been thinking about what time you were going to choose for weeks and trying to make it. But that's a smart idea to do one or two.
Mostly I do like Saturdays for Europe because some people, Europeans, they like to go out.
Late.
Like Friday and Saturday. So nighttime for them, like really like nighttime is not working.
You're in Vegas now. How long, Angel, have you been in the United States full time?
I'm here since 2010.
2010. So you've been here coming up 14 years now.
Yeah.
What do you love about being in the US and what do you miss about home?
Oof, good question. I definitely miss our kitchen. Czech and Slovak or European
You miss the
food.
food,
I
of
miss
course.
the food. I also, if I'm in Vegas, I do miss the lifestyle that is in Europe. I kind of prefer New York because it's very similar to Europe. Like you can go outside, like you can just walk around, like parks and shops or whatever. Like when you're in Vegas, everything's kind of like
Closed.
inside. Inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
I completely get it. Though in Vegas you have every restaurant from everywhere in the US, all the best nightclubs, it still feels different that you have to walk through a casino to go into
air
this
conditioner.
nightclub. Yeah. And you can't make a change of plans where you're like, oh, you know what, that place looks good. Let's walk over and check it out. In New York, you'll walk by a restaurant, you'll look in the window and there's a couple spots at the bar and you'll go sit down, it's just normal.
Exactly.
It is very different. What surprised you about our culture here? Because me growing up in the United States and visiting Europe, I've always loved the pace that people have a good separation of when they're working and when they're not working. And I think when I watched Emily in Paris, I loved in this,
I love that show.
I loved in this series how they made it such a crime to work on the weekends. Like it is just, how could you even make a business phone call on a Saturday, let alone a Sunday? So what have you noticed about living here and us?
You are workaholics. Yeah, like you don't know when to like chill from work for a minute.
And moving here, does that become part of your existence, or do you say to yourself, I know better, I'm not falling into this trap?
Yeah, I'm very European at this point, but sometimes because of the OnlyFans, like you need to be a little bit different. Like there is no like, oh, I'm taking Sunday off.
That's the funny
It's
thing.
not happening.
Nobody understands. When did we started working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day just because of OnlyFans? Like when? You're right.
So when we were working in industry, even there you were like, okay, I'm not working whatever day during the week. But now it's like, oops.
But I think what's a little bit different is you'll choose an hour or two on a Sunday afternoon and just make a pass through your messages and go through some things and then go back to your stuff. It's when other people are calling you on a Sunday afternoon to schedule work things that you're like, this should be a Monday through Friday thing. I would like to enforce that I don't want to do this with you on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That's very American. Of just when I want to talk to you about work, I'm going to talk to you about work, and there's no boundaries on holidays.
Yeah, there is no. Really, this is very American thing, which is kind of funny. Sometimes I'm like laughing. It's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, you're so American. It's like, yeah, says the European.
Because people either love it when they go to Europe and they love the pace, or they find it annoying that things take so slow.
True, you're right. Yeah.
And it's
true.
interesting for me when I witness that, because when you're in Europe and you go to a nice bar for a drink, they might take 15 minutes to make it.
What about Italy? Or
Oh my
Spain?
God. Italy's my fave.
With siesta.
They'll first 2 glasses. One's going to get ice cubes. They're going to start chilling that glass. That glass is be put aside. Now you got this. And it makes you drink it slower. But there's an art in everything that people do. And I think because we do work so hard and because we are so goal oriented here, we sometimes rush to get to the goal as opposed to thinking about the beautiful product.
Yeah, it's more like thinking about yourself, like to kind of like take a moment and just, like relax for a minute.
Just relax.
Like just enjoy yourself for a minute, like don't stress, don't overthink.
And now you realize that, a lot of your fans that are talking to you on your page are also using you're part of their relaxation.
Yeah.
So when you have these conversations, what stands out to you that you've noticed that like makes you happy about the people that you get to interact with?
What's like when they really want to know me on different level, not just like a porn star, like when they ask questions and what do you like or what kind of food do you like or what do you plan for today? Like, do you have any plans? Or they just check in, how you doing? How is everything?
Yeah, and I also find that they like photos of us dressed in our clothes.
Yeah.
They like the same stuff you might be putting on your Instagram or something else.
Sometimes I answer them because like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, I'm driving right now, so it's not a lingerie. I'm like, I'm driving right now, or I'm at home, so it's not a lingerie. And it's like, no, I really would like to see what you're wearing right now, so I'll just shoot the pictures, jeans,
Sweatpants.
whatever,
Yeah,
sweatpants,
jeans or
whatever.
sweatpants. And how many times do you get to meet some of your followers in person when you're doing your feature gigs?
Oh, I do. Like, yeah, I do meet them a lot. Like feature dancing or like XBiz or AVN. Yeah, you meet them a lot. Or they tell you, I give them tickets.
You're like, here, I'll give you this, I'll give you this. So did you go to AVN this year?
Not this year because I had like photo shoots and I like just set up and I didn't really have time. But I went to XBiz right before that.
So many back to back, right? Right.
Yeah, it's right after.
It's too many. Right
Yeah.
after the holidays when everybody
I
hasn't
did it
been
last
shooting.
year, both of them.
And it's exhausting.
It is.
And it sets you back, right?
Because
So
you have energy when you do the first one, right? But then you are kind of like...
Also, you wear your best outfits because you can only get so many awesome things that you love. And you're like, all right, I have these 10 things I need to switch on and off. All of that is just, it's a lot of planning and a lot of plotting, all of those things.
Plus, you have photo shoots between or whatever is going on, right? So,
do you shoot your own content for OnlyFans or do you hire someone to shoot you?
I do shoot my own content, and I work with one like photographer who is from mainstream, so he does my videos and pictures sometimes.
Fun.
Yeah,
And you're loving it.
yeah.
It's just great. I mean, I love the interaction that it's given. It's so different. We used to market ourselves through companies, but now we can go directly to our fan base and meet them in person and chat with them and get to know them.
It's also that thing when fans, what stands out, they will tell, like when they ask you questions, why didn't you do like more like scenes like that, right? Or like, for example, like swallowing or cream pie.
For me, it's always cream pie. I've did two my
pie,
whole
right?
career, and so
You
that's
don't like
it.
it? I'm like, it wasn't my call.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, so they actually, some of them, they think that was like our decision. Well, how are we gonna end the scene? I'm like, no.
No, with a pretty face like yours, you're taking most of your shots to your face. I know that for a fact. As a director, I mean, I'm sorry, we just have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And what they also don't realize a lot of times, the cream pie was fake because the guy either couldn't do it, or he did it too early. Like there's a reason that
Or
happened.
with me, I am so tight. But so when there was a cream pie, I couldn't push it out.
Okay.
And everyone was like waiting, with the
Waiting
camera,
and waiting, and
I'm
you're like, no, I don't want
I'm
to
like,
do that.
It's not coming out. It will come out next day.
Where do you think you're more famous? Are you more famous when you're out and about in Europe or in the U.S.? Because I would think everybody in Europe, if you're
I
back
think
in
it's
Prague,
Europe. I
everyone.
think it's Europe. Because I was very active in Europe.
Of course,
for
and then
so
you
many
become a
years.
huge American star.
Yeah.
And that really
That was the time when Americans used to come to Europe. Like Eric Everhard, 30 Degree, Zero Tolerance, all of them.
Yeah.
Like they used to shoot in Hungary and
Yeah, I did a
Prague.
month in Budapest shooting for everybody, and it
yeah.
was awesome. I got to meet so many beautiful women from all different places. No one could speak English. The director could just speak to each one of us like a little bit. Everyone spoke a different language. Like every day you're on set, but I would bring in music, and in the dressing room, every girl knew Jay-Z, Usher.
Yeah.
Every song they would sing word to word in English, and then we'd try to talk. But it was beautiful. We'd go out to eat every night after our shoots. I loved it. I loved the feeling, the culture there, having the weekends off. There's a beautiful gym there that I loved. Like it was a great escape for me. I would have gone back and done it again, but the money is very different in the U.S.
True. That is true. You're right. Yeah, you are absolutely right.
It's a huge difference.
Huge difference, yeah.
So you're feature dancing, you've got your OnlyFans page, you do some social media, which I know you resisted for a long period of time. And on your off time,
I actually started social media together with OnlyFans.
because you kind of had to, right?
Yeah.
So what made you resist, Angel? You were so brave to not do social media because you knew it's a lot of work.
I had a social media before. This is embarrassing. I had a Twitter and I posted like one tweet.
And what happened to the account?
They canceled it. I think somebody got like a hold of the account and put the account in trouble,
Okay.
like big trouble. And I was trying to talk to Twitter, but it sounded like I was talking.
You're banned. And it wasn't you.
Yeah, it wasn't me, and it sounded like I was talking to the computer or something.
Yeah, and you have to wait. Like you send them an email, and then they
There
send
was
you
no
back
customer.
a ticket, and then it goes back and forth for months. And sometimes they land in your spam, and you're waiting for it, and you go down and look. You're like, oh, they responded 3 days ago. It's been in my spam. Like it's not. Eventually, you give up, and I think that's what they're hoping.
Yeah, that would happen. This is exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not giving up here. You're still coming around, Angel Dark. You are enjoying being out here, sharing yourself with your fans, not just virtually, but in person at the Sapphire locations. And I appreciate you so much sitting down. Please, again, remind everybody where they can follow you on social media.
So they can follow me on my Twitter, which is AngelXDark_X. Then Instagram is AngelDarkIsBack. And my OnlyFans is AngelXDark.
We will make sure that we have all of those proper addresses out to everyone. Anyone who hasn't found you yet is going to discover you and fall in love. For all of you, thank you for joining. Stay tuned for more episodes. Go back and subscribe on our YouTube channel and share these with your friends. It's been so much fun putting them together for you. Remember, Sapphire has 3 locations in New York City, all serving my wine, Lisa by Lisa Ann. Or you can get out there to Vegas, where I will be for March Mayhem on Friday, March 22nd. We'll be watching those games during the day and partying all night long. Go and see me there. And thank you for listening to another episode of Lisa Ann's Backstage Convos.